The basic definition of the word articulate is to make clear, distinct, and precise. So on the trumpet, we have two different ways that we can play notes. We can either slur them, or we can articulate them. You can tell that second demonstration, each note was a little bit more clear, a little bit more distinct, because I was articulating that note. Well, how do we articulate? We actually use the very tip of our tongue. And a great analogy to help us understand this, since we can't really see inside our mouth that well, is to think of a water faucet. If I turn a water faucet on and have a stream of water coming out very steadily, that's kind of like our airflow. Now, if you take your finger and you flick it through that water very quickly, you can still see the stream of water coming out, but your finger is whisking away just a little bit of water at a time, sort of interrupting the water flow, but not disrupting the water flow. The same thing is true with our airflow and our tongue. If I am blowing air and flicking my tongue through the air, it's only interrupting the air, not disrupting the air. So the most natural way to think of this and produce this articulation effect on the trumpet is to say the letter T. So say T, or ta, toe, tie. Notice where your tongue strikes every time. The tip of your tongue is striking at the top of your teeth. It's not coming between the teeth, it's striking behind the teeth. Instead of saying a TH consonant, you're saying a T consonant. So now, on air, practice. You try. Now, the exact placement of your tongue differs a little bit for everybody, but it needs to definitely be behind the teeth, typically where the top of the teeth and the gums meet at the roof of your mouth there. Now, it's very important that your tongue does not come through the teeth, because if your tongue comes through the teeth, it's going to touch the lips, which is going to stop the vibration, in effect turning that water faucet off. And it might sound like this. You can usually hear this in younger players or beginners. I apologize for the sound, but that has a very blatty sound. The tongue is coming through the lips and stopping the lips from vibrating, and you get a very crass, harsh sound. And it's also very difficult to tongue fast if the tongue is coming between the teeth. So if we move that tongue back and strike at the top of the teeth, we can move the tongue much faster and it'd be much smoother. And it sounds nice and round with a good sound. Also, another way you can tell if a student is tonguing between their teeth is if the notes are fuzzing out a lot when they play, or if they're playing lots of wrong notes. They're aiming for a G, but they really hit a C or something. A lot of times that's because the tongue is exploding the air through the lips, and you can't control that aperture of the embouchure. So it's important to keep that tongue behind the teeth. Another great way you can test to see if this is happening with one of your students or even with yourself is to take that mouthpiece visualizer that I showed in the embouchure and mouthpiece placement video and hold that up to your lips and do a basic articulation. And you can see if the tongue is coming between the teeth and touching the lips. So there are some quick reminders on how to improve and maintain a good articulation through all of your playing.